everyone, and welcome back to Liz Sews. I thought today I'd get started on my Valentine's Day set. So I requested some fuchsia bra tulle from the TaylorMade shop as part of my TaylorMade collaboratory this month, and this is the idea for the set that I want to go ahead and make. It's loosely based on the heart bra that Emerald Erin made on her channel a couple weeks ago. I was thinking back and forth whether or not I wanted to do the heart design, and I sort of decided against it just because it's not something I think that I would personally get wear out of. So I'm going to focus more on that thick underband elastic with the bra cup set into it because I thought that was a really interesting detail. So you can see from my sketch here that I'm going to do the whole bra itself out of that sheer bra tulle. I'm going to do 2 layers in opposing directions of stretch, but it's still going to be nice, light, airy sheer bra, and then that thick bottom band running underneath it. I'm actually going to be using the Grace pattern from Annie and Myra. No particular reason why, I just wanted it to, I think that one would look cool in this sort of like sporty design. So it will have that vertical seam running down the cup. And then I'm going to cover the neckline edge with fold over elastic and probably the upper arm section as well. So this is going to have no picot in it at all. So fold over elastic along the neck and arms, wide band elastic for the bottom band, and then just regular black strapping here. The underwear I'm not going to focus too much on just because I think I'm going to use my basic block and I want to like mirror that sort of large thick black band along the underwear as well. And then the bottoms I'm just going to be using some dyed power net, so something that's, I'm hoping I can get a dye color that's fairly close to the bra tulle when that comes in. So I do have a couple days before that's going to come in, so I thought at least I'd get a jump start on working on the pattern now. So the first thing that I need to do to work on this is sort of convert this into not a partial band bra, but in the sense that I want the channeling to flip up into the cup instead of down into the band portion. So in order to do that, I'm going to need to add 3/8 of an inch just along the wire line of my 2 cup pieces here. So these are my 2 Grace cup pieces. At the same time I'm doing that, it looks like I've already cut off the neckline edge of the seam allowance because I do quite frequently use fold over elastic with that, so that's good. I'll also get rid of the seam allowance over here on the underarm edge as well because I'm going to be using fold over elastic. So I'll just mark that in so I know where it is I need to finish the cup piece. Okay, so I'm just going to trace those over, and I'm going to trace over from the actual seam line instead of the edge of the cut piece because then I can add all of my extras on top of that. So let me just mark that in really fast. Most of my patterns I already have the seam line marked in, but this one I had made some alterations to it recently, and so my seam line has been cut off. Seam that runs down the center of the bra, I'll go ahead and already put my seam allowances in just because that one is not going to be altered at all. But the wire line, I'm going to draw in at the sewn edge. And the neckline. Okay, so this is the innermost cut piece. So I have my neckline edge, which is going to use fold over elastic. So now I just need to add my sections out here. So for the underwire channeling on this, I need to account for 3/8 of an inch. So I'm going to draw in a 3/8 line. So 3/8 of an inch out from where it would be sewn. And that's just going to be where that underwire channeling sits in, because I don't really want to change the volume of the cup at all. I just want to make sure that that underwire channeling has space to flip inside into the cup without changing the volume of my cup. So once I got that in, that's my 3/8 of an inch, then I can add on my 1/4 of an inch seam allowance, which is where it is going to attach to the band itself. So I go through this in a little bit more detail in another video, and I can link it up in the cards over there, about converting a pattern from a full band into a partial band. It's basically the same techniques, even though this is still going to be a full band bra. I'm organizing it as if it was a partial band, and then for this section I'm just going to continue down. So that's going to be my new inner cup piece, and I'm going to go ahead and do the outer cup piece as well. Okay, so that is my cups all sorted, and now I can start looking at the band. So for the band, I kind of have 3 different options. I'm not sure which one I want to use. The first one is this really cool sort of like spacered band elastic, which I really like. It has this sort of like see-through section in it, but I'm thinking I might go ahead and save this for the underwear. I think it might be a little bit more impactful in the underwear, because having the cup sit into this, you're going to take away some of those stripes. So this is going to save for the underwear. Then for the bra itself, I can go with just the basic plain black, or I also have this other really fun one that has sort of like a picot edge, so it looks like really beefed up picot elastic. I'm thinking this guy, if I look at my thing, it really reads sort of like edgy, and so I think I'm going to go with the straight black instead of the picot black, just because I think it'll add to that sort of like edgy feeling, if that makes sense. The first thing I'm going to do is measure this guy. So if I measure it, it is 1 3/8 wide. So I'm going to start out just drawing in 1 3/8 wide on here. And I know that my band, yeah, this should be more than enough. I'm just going to put half of it on here. And just know that I need to repeat it on the other side. 1 2 3. Okay. Okay, so that's going to be my band. Actually, before I start on that, I kind of need to do just a fake one on the side over here of the frame with all the adjustments for the elastic folding, or the channeling folding into the inside. So that means I need to look at my outer frame and my bridge piece here. And because we added the 3/8 of an inch to the cup, I need to take away the 3/8 of an inch on these. Now let me measure this. This is almost exactly 3/8 of an inch wide, so I might widen the bridge just a little bit. I'm going to copy along this edge and this edge and this edge all like normal. I'll get rid of my seam allowance up along the top because I am planning to use fold over elastic. And then we can focus on that inner arc of the frame itself. Bottom doesn't really matter because I'm going to use the bottom of this anyway. So right now I have a 1/4 of an inch seam allowance. I'm going to measure in 3/8 from the seam line. It's going to be my new seam line, and then I'm going to add a 1/4 back into that. So the difference would be 1/8. Okay, so I really just need to measure in 1/8 from my seam line, and that's going to be my new seam line. Now I'm just drawing in my new sewn line, which is going to be 1/4 of an inch away. Okay. So there's that, and then I also want to do the same thing with my bridge piece here. Now I'm going to cut out these 2 bridge and frame pieces. So when Erin made hers, let me get this place a little bit more organized. When Erin made hers, she just had 1/4 of an inch peeking out below the band. I like my band to be a little bit thicker, so I think I'm going to go with maybe 1/2 of an inch. Okay, so I want 1/2 of an inch exposed. And then for under the cups, yeah, got another 1/4 of an inch just for seam allowance. So now I'm going to align these like bridge pieces under here. So basically what I want to do is align that seam allowance of the bridge piece, the seam allowance line of the bridge piece with that 1/2 of an inch mark on my bottom band. Okay. So that's the bridge part, and then I'll also look at the frame. So just like we did, I'm sort of like aligning the frame, and I'm making sure to overlap. So yeah. So I'm overlapping my seam allowance from where my bridge, so that I make sure that I'm overlapping this line with the sewn line of my frame. And again, I'm butting up the sewn line of my frame with that 1/2 of an inch mark on my 3/8 of an inch band. And then I can copy over this. And I think when I do it, I'm going to cut out these frame pieces out of the bra tool, and I'm going to cut them out at full length to the bottom of this elastic, so that when I'm aligning them and when I'm constructing it, then I can have that straight edge to align with. So I'll sew them onto the elastic with the straight edge aligned, and then I can cut away the excess later. Okay, so Erin talked about the fact that the back does end up being at a little bit of an angle. I'm going to keep these as 2 separate pieces. I think I'm going to sew them together and then sew the elastic onto the bottom of them, and hope that the elastic is enough to sort of spin around that. So this is kind of all of a mess. These 2 cut pieces I'm going to go ahead and use, but then this guy on the bottom, I think I'm going to break it out into all its individual components to make it a little bit easier to see. Okay, so I've cut out all of the pattern pieces so that we can look at them and it looks a little less crazy. So of course we have the 2 cut pieces that we worked on first. Really the only difference was adding 3/8 of an inch along the wire lines here, and then removing all of my seam allowances up here because I'm going to be using fold over elastic. And then we have the bridge, the side frame, and the back band piece. So we removed 3/8 of an inch from the bowl of this section here. I also straightened out the bottom edge of this and made it so that it will align with the bottom edge of the elastic when we're sewing that in. And then on the back band piece, I decided to go ahead and keep that angle in on my back band piece, because when I sew these 2 together, I think I should have enough flexibility in my elastic to be able to make that sort of turn on there. So those are these 3 pieces. And then the last one we have is our elastic piece. This one's going to be cut on the fold here. We are removing some of this section from my back, from my black elastic to allow for the cup to sit in there. So ideally, when this is made, I'm going to line the bottom edge of that piece with the bottom edge of the elastic like this. And the elastic will just continue across and along, and I'll have a little bit of the bra tool sticking up beyond the elastic to form the sort of bowl that the cups will fit into. So that is about all I can do today without my materials, but I'm pretty happy with the headway that I've made so far. Hopefully they'll come in the next couple of days and I can get started on this bra.